Welcome to the Unsexy Podcast, where we talk about all things unsexy that lead to the finished product. As always, I'm joined by my brother, Aaron Skinner. I am Alex Skinner, and today we're talking about something that I didn't even know what its initials stood for until 30 seconds ago. The TSA. So this is going to be great. And honestly, I already forget what it was. The Transportation Security Administration? There we go. Transportation Security Administration and the things that are going on there. And I'm sure you're all asking, why is this unsexy? How is this an unsexy topic? Going and doing digging and learning about this thing, which Aaron and I have spent no time doing. We have not put in the unsexy effort to do this thing, but I think we can spread a little light on it. There is a common trope that is more security, less freedom, more freedom, less security. So essentially, the TSA is born out of 9/11, where we are wanting to have more security, but we are now adding another government agency, federal government agency, that is in charge of making sure no bombs get on planes, no guns get on planes, that everybody is traveling relatively safely. I barely remember pre 9/11 travel. And what I do remember is that I was walked to the gate by my parents and I was walked to the gate by my aunt. And I don't even remember much of security except for maybe a wand, if that is something. So it has changed dramatically. And now we have so many people. Think about it. I'm 37 years old. And I barely remember what life was before. So now we have everyone 37 and under who all they know is life with TSA. And I would say that it probably has been a net positive. But the fact that this happens so goddamn always is a little bit frustrating.
What thankfully it has the shutdown? Is that what you're saying is frustrating?
Like government shutdowns happen like crazy, and obviously they happen like crazy under Trump, and so this is becoming like an annoying thing. Thankfully, it hasn't impacted me that much, which probably leads people to be like, so like, why are you guys talking about this? We're talking about it because like once again, this thing has become politicized like crazy. Aaron, TSA hasn't impacted you, right? Been pretty nice.
No, actually, I just got back from a vacation where I was terrified that it was going to impact me because I went to DC. So, the heart of everything that's going on with the shutdown. And I flew out of Salt Lake, zero issues there. I flew back out of DC and we got through in like 30 seconds. I mean, I have TSA pre-check, so that probably helps. But I did not, for some reason, my TSA pre-check didn't work in Salt Lake. Still not a problem. Still got through super fast. And so it's a little side note. It's funny. You get so used to TSA pre-check that you have no idea what to do when you go through regular pre-check.
Have to take out
or regular check.
Off.
Yeah, well, they got rid of the shoe thing, so you don't have to take your shoes off. But I've never taken my tablet out of my bag, and so I'm going through like, you need to take this out. I was like, what? I don't know what I'm doing. It was just whatever. So yeah, as far as affecting me, it didn't affect me at all. But it obviously affects people that aren't getting paid to work. Like what industry would that ever happen? Right? Like
it's insanity.
Never, just if you're an entrepreneur, stop paying your employees. Let me know how long they stick around for. It's not going to be very long. But there's a law. I can't remember the name of the law that affects like firefighters, police, like where you can't do like a protest and just do like a walkout. And I think TSA
you can't strike.
You can't do a strike.
Oh, wow.
I think like all first responders, there's some law. I don't know. Again, I'm not educated with this. I just vaguely know that there's a law that you can't do that. So TSA can't just go on strike. And I'm sure they would love to do that. But I do have a little inside source. So at my gym, there is a guy that is a TSA agent. So he's a really nice guy. I like talking to him about kind of what's going on. And so their kind of workaround is you can take 2 sick days in a row without a doctor's note. But if it's 3, you have to come back with the doctor's note. So a lot of people are just taking 2 days off, coming to work, taking 2 days off, coming to work. And so that's how they kind of do it. Because I don't know. I wouldn't want to go to work. I'm not getting paid.
And not
Like,
get paid.
F this. And the other thing too is they're like, hey, and when I was talking to my buddy, the guy, my gym buddy, he was just saying what they were telling. So his like higher ups were telling him, hey, we know you have mortgage payments. We know you have this and this and this. If you just let them know that you're a TSA agent, they will defer your payments. He's like, oh, okay. Guess what didn't happen? So he went into his bank. He's like, hey, I'm a TSA agent. This is what you guys all know what's going on. I'd like to defer my mortgage payment. They're like, yeah, I don't think so. And so it's just like, I just can't imagine being in that situation where your main source of income is just gone, but you still are required to go to work is absolutely insane to me. And yeah, like you said, Alex, it's all politicized, and the everyone blames everyone else. It's everyone else's fault. Everyone's stupid except for me kind of mentality. And the people that get hurt are your common people. Like the hardworking Americans are the ones that are getting hurt, or the people that that did get affected by long TSA lines and missing flights and stuff like that. Like, yeah, dude, it's a real shit show when it comes
Right.
to all this. And the thing that sucks, man, is like you can't do anything about it. What are you gonna do? Like, well, I'm gonna vote, and that's gonna when the next election comes, that's gonna change it. Like, well, great. When is that? When's the next election? And you're gonna wait a couple of years to be able to make that. But like, it's just
Aaron's serious. When is the next election? If
20.
Leave it in the comments.
Is it next presidential? Is it 2028?
I think it's this year. I think the midterms are this year. I have no
midterms.
idea.
I was thinking presidential.
Presidential. Yeah.
No, I think they're. I think the midterms.
2028.
I don't
That's every
know.
4 years.
I don't know I don't know political things. But
it's interesting because I know that we do say like we go ahead and politicize this. I think it is partially fair that this is political, but I think what I'm getting frustrated by on the politicalization of things is that like it goes back to like it's always better to be in the middle. Like people are like, oh, it's the Republicans' fault. Oh, it's the Democrats' fault. Like it's both of their faults. Like essentially, and it's Trump's fault too. Like I saw this thing that like the White House put out where it's just like, oh, yeah, sorry about the Democratic shutdown of the government. I was just like, no, the Republicans have the majority. And the Democrats, obviously, some of them could have switched sides to make the funding bill go through, but we keep having tons and tons of shutdowns under this administration. And that's not just this 4 years that we're going through right now. This was 2017 to 2021 as well. The most government shutdowns that have ever happened and the longest ones that have ever happened are under Trump's administrations. And I think a lot of people like will look at that and be like, he's, cleaning out the swamp. No, it's making it way more swampy because it goes back to what Aaron said. Like none of those people are affected. Delta put out this thing where they say like, hey, during this government shutdown, we're no longer going to let politicians fly or be able to get like their
special treatment
that they normally get of not having to go through security check. And there's like a part like everyone's like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, and there's a part of me like, why do we do this every single time? We should do like one, they shouldn't have the special treatment. They shouldn't have the special treatment at all. I do not care. Like you are public servants. You are going to act just the same way as well. What about the president? Shouldn't he have a security detail? Like blah, 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 blah. Like normal. I'm like, there's part of me that kind of wishes it was normal. The amount of tax dollars that go into protecting people who don't care about any of you. They're using you as pawns. Like, look at these TSA agents not getting paid. Stupid Democrats. Do they care that your buddy's mortgage didn't get deferred? No, they don't. They don't at all. You want to know how I know? Has your friend heard from President Trump called him up? Has his Republican senator and or representative called him up? No, because they don't care. They don't care about us.
And the funny thing about that is like they're like the big win that Trump did was like, I'm going to fund the TSA with whatever he did. Again, So I don't know a lot of political things or whatever. I try to keep out of the news as much as I can, just like or not deep dive into things because I have better things to do. But I there was the thing that Trump passed that forced payment for the TSA agent. So I talked to my buddy actually this morning. I was like, oh well, Trump did that thing, so you're getting paid now. He's like, well, we got paid like for I think it was like 2 pay periods, but that still doesn't cover all the other things. And he made a really good point. He's like, and of course, they took all of the taxes out and they like retroactively took out taxes that are going to be paid
Oh my God.
for like the next payments. And so he's like, yeah, I was like, one of my buddies, he got like, I think he said 50% of his check was taxes. And it's just like, try and do that with the government. Try and be like, you know what, government? I'm not going to pay my taxes. Ask Wesley Snipes how that worked out. And not only that, but like, then if you do pay them back, you got to pay interest. Do you think these TSA agents that have been working for free this entire time are going to get interest put on their checks? Absolutely not. And it just goes back to what you said, Alex, and what we say all the time. They don't care about you. You're just we're just pawns, man. We really are. And they use the news cycles to get you all riled up. And it's Fox, it's CNN, it's MSNBC, it's all of those. It's you go to those to get mad at the opposition. That's where you go, because that's all they're going to talk about is everything bad that happens is because of Democrats, or everything that bad that happens is Republicans. And so whichever way you lean, that's what you watch, and it just gets reinforced. And that's why there's such divisiveness in our nation today. I mean, there's, people think like, well, there's always been divisive. It's really, really bad. And so I don't know. That's it. Just what it really comes down to, they don't care about you. Stop thinking they do, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
That's the part that sucks.
And like Aaron said, like, yes, it has always been divisive, but this goes back to our conversation from last week about social media, where you're getting the big difference between the division now versus then is nobody is hearing dissenting opinions. Essentially, all anybody is hearing is the echo chamber that they create for themselves on social media. And for most people, it's one of two echo chambers where they create I will listen to the Democratic side, but it's the things that like I'm always going to disagree with and like pisses me off. Like it's never going to be the reasonable Democrat that comes through, and then it's going to be only the good Republican things and vice versa. Like, so you're going to get the stuff that will always piss you off, and then the stuff that like you're always gonna be like, oh yeah, right, true, and just all of this information that's coming through. And I think I've said this before, like I don't think everyone should be able to vote. Obviously that would be like a huge power vacuum where like and I'm not saying like rich, like I don't think Elon Musk should be allowed to vote.
Women should be able to. Is that what you said, Alex?
Oh gosh, some of them, just like some men shouldn't be able to vote. Like there's a lot of people who are like, if this is the education that we are receiving is from talking head and pundits, like even people like us, if people are receiving their information like, oh, so people only got paid half of what they thought they were going to get paid from TSA. I didn't know that. Like whatever educational thing we say here, we shouldn't be the educators for you to go out and vote either. Like essentially nobody knows. But at the same time, I'm scared of that, because then it's like, all right, cool. So let's just give all of the power to a small ruling class that then controls everything. Like that's also not great. But what we're doing right now, I wouldn't say it's not working, but it's not going great. And what I mean by that is I don't feel like, at least I see it, like the middle class is like dying. Everything is way more expensive for them. Like I think normally I would have been like where I am at, like is like upper middle class, maybe even like lower upper class with like where I am currently, but it's definitely more middle class, or like just right below like the middle class line, because you have childcare, you have all of the anyways. And so I think about as we're seeing that disappear, who has that been happening under? And I feel like I'm incredibly biased in this, so I just want to apologize to everybody. But like, he isn't making it better for you, people. Like, Trump doesn't care about you. Neither did Biden. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, it has not gotten better for the middle class. And I just want all of those people, and especially the lower class, all of those lower class people who are voting like, because they think the American dream is coming back. It's not coming back anytime soon for you. And so I go back to the thing that we say quite a bit on this podcast too, where it's just like, you need to figure out the game and play the game as best you can with whoever like the new managers, puppeteers of the game are, which is incredibly frustrating for me. Gonna go on a huge tangent here really fast. The one thing I agree with the Unabomber on. So he has this thing in his manifesto. Is Ted Kaczynski the Unabomber?
Yes.
He has this thing in his manifesto where it says,
Yes.
every time you stop at a red light, you are giving up freedom. And in, I believe it was the TV show on Netflix that they made about him, they have a guy who stopped. It's the middle of the night. There are no cars around, and he stops at the red light. And that's like always stuck with me, where the more power that we continue to give to the government, which is like an absurd amount of power. Like, just think about this. President Trump just say what, I don't care what your opinions are. It's not about like the opinions of if this is wrong or right. Within 3 months, went in and abducted a leader of a country, and then assassinated, for lack of a better term, a leader of another country. Yeah. One, which is leading to great financial turmoil for a lot of the nations in the world, and the people who end up suffering the pain of that aren't people like me. It's like, it's the lower class where it's just like, holy crap, $4.20 a gallon for gas is incredibly expensive for me. And that I feel like is problematic. The amount of the amount of power the federal government is creating. Because just imagine that amount of power, and like people will be like, well, Biden did this, Obama did. Yeah, I didn't like that very much either. Like, this is more of like the federal government is doing so much more than it was ever prescribed to be able to do. And the only people, it makes us less safe, and it makes us less money. It takes money out of our pockets, and it makes people putting targets on our back. Because if there's one thing I know from all of the TV shows I watched, essentially, whenever regardless of people being happy or sad, when you kill a leader, you make a bunch of radical zealots. You make a martyr out of that person. And then things get crazier and crazier and crazier. End of rant. Like, it just pisses me off, the amount of power the federal government has. And like, there is zero accountability. There's no accountability for anybody.
And there's, I go back to, and there's nothing you can do.
We can do about it.
I mean, I was in DC. There was a giant protest. I mean, not the No Kings protest, which is also like, great. Okay. Like, and I'm not against like, don't protest. You shouldn't be able to protest. Like, good. I'm glad people can do that. And I mean, that's one of the great things about the United States is you can do one of these giant protests and not have to worry about getting run over by a tank.
Killed.
But it just goes back to, and then what did that solve? Nothing. And then there was a No Kings one, but the one that we saw was the big one in DC for like, I think it was the Iran war. And I'll tell you what, I should maybe know what the Iran flag looks like, especially since it was in our thumbnail. I didn't. I was like, which one is this? So I took a picture, sent it to ChatGPT. He's like, that's the Mexican flag. I was like, it's not Mexican. I was like explaining to it. I was like, it's not a Mexican flag. It has this. It's like, it's because the picture you sent me, it's bent a little. So he's telling me I'm confused. I'm like, shut up, ChatGPT. Fine. It was the Iran flag. I should have probably been able to figure that out way faster than I did. Anyways, but it's like, I was with my daughter, she's 10, and she's just like, why are they doing this? I'm like, oh, God, I'm the worst person to ask about this. Like, I'm assuming they're protesting the strikes and things that we've been doing in Iran and getting involved in that. She's like, why would we do strikes there? Like, why are we? It's like, well, we killed their leader. She's like, why? I was like, he's a bad guy. I don't fucking know.
What's with the questions?
It's like, quiet you. And she's just like, what? And then a 10-year-old's like, why are we getting involved in somebody else's business? I was like, I don't No, and I get it. Someone could through the history, and there's probably some validity of what we did there. I'm not educated enough to have an opinion on if it's right or wrong of what we did. But it was just an interesting thing. But my whole point being like, so you had that no kings, you had that Iran giant tons of people there, and what is it going to do? Nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's going to make you feel good that you get to protest. And again, I'm glad we live in a country where you can do that safely. And that's great. I'm not anti-protesting. I just it just doesn't do anything. I mean, were you and I, Alex, talking about this? Like, what would it take for me to go to a protest? Like, I just know the end result is nothing. Like, they did protests forever for the Vietnam War. What did that result in? Nothing. Like,
Right.
that's not why we left. It wasn't like the president was like, you know what? Those protesters are right. We're gonna get out of the Vietnam War. It just sucks when you really think about it. The no power you have, like, well, your power's in your vote. Like, it doesn't matter who it's gonna be. No one cares about you. That's how
Right.
it really is. Like, they'll have all their great speeches and stuff to get elected, and then nothing changes. It's all the same.
Yeah, I love that it came from the mouths of babes too, where it's just like it shouldn't be confusing to a child. And so like the way that people simplify is like, oh, he's a bad guy. Or you could do like, oh, they were enriching uranium to create nuclear devices. And then even like I think a child would be like, well, why is that bad? Like, well, we don't want them to have them. Do we have them? Yes, we have them, but the other people can't have them.
But
We're the
we're the
only
good
people who
guys.
can. Yeah, we're the good guys. So like we're the only people that can have them. Does Russia have them? Yeah, they were the bad guys in like in Rocky 4, and then like we liked them again, and then essentially let's just say Top Gun Maverick came out and they weren't our best friends again.
That was a
I like
very
to
ambiguous who the bad guy
I
was
know.
in
I
that
like
one,
to
though.
pretend it was Russia because I know it couldn't be China because then
I thought
China
it was
wouldn't show the
Iran.
movie.
I thought it
Is
was
it Iran? I
I
believe
thought it
you.
was. I thought they never say, but that's who I assumed it was.
Now that's who I assume it was. And it just gets it just makes me sad. Like maybe we're like going to like the human element of, taking this from like the TSA, like to where we at. Like it makes me sad that we just don't care about people that much. And sorry, let me take that. I think as individuals we do, but like as a whole, we don't really. Um, and that goes back to the my favorite Men in Black quote is when Kay says, a person is smart, but people are dumb, flighty, something creatures or whatever. Like a singular person is incredibly intelligent, but then like when you like gather an entire group of persons together, they start to become radical,
or
crazy. Yeah, that too. Like a lot of like the negative connotations because you start getting this us versus them mentality. And I've said this quite a bit, where I think it's nice, but even that, like for a little while, it was good. Like, I think it was because Trump was the one who started the lockdowns, but like 2020 sucked. But like there was a little bit of like, hey, we're in this together for about 2 months, and then then it became Dr. Fauci versus Trump, like blah blah blah, and then it became heavily politicized. And I've always felt like we need that big bad. So there's sometimes where I wish, not necessarily like the COVID thing, but like we would have aliens who came and threatened us, and that would be like really the only thing that would ever unify us ever.
Well,
like
what was the last thing that actually completely unified us?
9/11.
Exactly. And like, and I do not want that to happen again. That's not what I'm saying. But like,
You need the big bad.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you're saying. Like, but it's so sad that that's what it is. It has to be some catastrophe that happens that brings us all together. And instead of just be like, can't we just be good people just in general and be nice to each other? Nope. There always has to be, like your Rocky thing. That was funny. There has to be like a big bad, a common enemy. There has to be a common enemy. But even that fell apart. Even then, on 9/11, we're all like, yeah, we're gonna go get them. And then how long did that last before everyone was mad at each other again? It's
2003.
It's just
when we invaded Iraq.
Yes, it's so. I don't know. This is gonna turn. I don't know what the thumbnail is gonna look like for this, but it's like I know we were gonna. The main point was about TSA. Then we got into our. This is why This is why there's nothing we can do. Sorry.
But the TSA is just another, if we want to pull it
Example.
back to like the unsexy like side of things, is just another unsexy example that people are going to forget about, because now like lines are fine again until the next time the TSA gets shut down, where it's just like, you need to remember all of these moments and you need to remember who is like accountable for them. And yes, I agree. Like, there's very little that we can do, but the only thing that we can really do is that aspect of voting. And like, I love, there's like this literally Parks and Rec guy, literally, he was in
Uh,
Wayne's World. I'm just going to start naming him all
oh,
this.
oh my God.
Rob Lowe.
Yes.
Rob Lowe. He's like, yeah, you want to know what? Every single election that I've ever been a part of has been the most important election. And sometimes I laugh at that because I'm just like, yep, every single. But like, the reason that every election is the most important election ever is just because all the other ones have already happened.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
like we can't go back in time and change any of those.
Right.
And going to your like protest thing of things, like a lot of times people want to use the marches of the civil rights, like, oh, look at all those marches that happened when it was the boycotts and people losing money because people weren't riding buses. And like, I'm sure people would be like, that's not the only reason. I'm like, the hitting people's pocketbooks is where things always make the difference. When gas prices started going up under Joe Biden, you start seeing the look, I did that little stickers on stuff.
Yes.
Like, when things start impacting people financially, that is when they finally start to care. They don't really care about safety. We saw that with ICE. They don't really care about safety. We saw that with all the when black people were getting killed. Like, what we really care about, and when change will happen, if you could tie, and maybe this is my crazy thought of this podcast, if you could somehow tie how George Floyd getting murdered or killed, however you want to talk about it, to like, and now you're losing money because we now have to train our police officers more so that that doesn't, body cams now cost money and we always have to have body cams on. People are more likely to be like, stop doing that because it's costing me $150 a year that I wasn't having to pay previously. With Iran, it's so simple because it's the gas. Like, the gas has to go up because like what? And then I hear Trump bragging go up. But I love when like I start at one point, then like it just leads me like, oh,
and don't get me started about the post office.
And it pisses me off when like Trump literally, it was 2 days ago, so March 31st, talking about our allies. He's like, hey, if our allies are being impacted by oil, the United States has a ton. They have a ton. They can just like start buying from us. I'm just like, so I'm a little confused why our gas prices would, and then people comment in the things, because I honestly have no idea why this would be the case. Why do American gas prices go up when there is a conflict in the Middle East and we have so much oil that can be refined into gasoline? That confuses me. I literally don't have the answer as why that would be the case.
You have to watch Landman. It explains
Does
everything.
he say how? Is it because of solar?
No, it's because of the retirement homes.
No. Oh my God. I do love that like little like it costs fossil fuels to be able to make those things, and the trucks that have to go pick up the stuff.
Have you watched the debunking of that? Have you ever seen that? That whole spiel is
that whole spiel that he does is a lie.
It's all bullshit. Yeah.
It's not as much fun.
But you want to know what? I read about it online. That could have been bullshit too. I don't know. Yeah. But it was just interesting. There's a guy that like broke everything down and how it's actually, that's not true at all. But I believed it for a long time. And then I switched and believed what I read from another guy. So I don't know. I could be wrong. Who knows?
Well, and I think that's a great example of, you should never just blindly might be the wrong word, but like blindly just support somebody for forever. Like, and I don't associate with very many people like this. I think I associate with a lot of people who like view things from like different lenses, depending on like what the scenario is.
Yeah.
But the people who just like love Donald Trump, I will never understand. I will never understand. It's like, I am going to support him on everything. Oh, like, the Apache helicopters went over and visited Kid Rock, and there are no consequences of that.
There was. They got got suspended. The pilots got suspended.
Like, they finally did?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But no, you're right. Like, it's like how many people were like, hell yeah, that's awesome. My first thought was like, how much did this cost us in tax dollars to go fly and like say hi to Kid Rock? Go buy a You want to go see him? Go buy a ticket. Go see Kid Rock. Like, I have no problem with Kid Rock, whatever. But like, yeah, stupid shit like that. We're like, yeah, America. Like, I don't like that they do the flyovers during the Super Bowl. How much
Yeah.
money is that costing us?
Seriously.
And
Hopefully the NFL pays for it. My guess would be the NFL
they
pays for it. Right?
don't, dude.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
The NFL gets paid by the government for all the ads. All the ads for everything that has to do with the military, everything is paid for by the government. It's there. There's no sort like this is funny. Like, look into this. Like, it's not one of those. You're like, I love the NFL because they're so patriotic and look how they support the military. They support them because they get paid to support them. That's why. The same thing we were talking about the other day about there's a reason they use the Microsoft tablets on the sideline instead of like a superior product in the iPads, is because Microsoft pays them a lot of money. So no, everything you see that has to do with the military in any aspect is paid for by the military, which is paid for by us. So yeah, I just going back to like, I don't need flyovers. Like, how many flyovers can we stop doing to save money? Also, I'm going to do it, Alex. And where do I get that money from the tariffs that was promised? What is going on? like that's another thing. Like, oh, I got all these these tariffs made us $8 trillion, and every American's going to get whatever. Like, I'm waiting for that check. When's that check coming? Not happening. All it's done is made everything more expensive and put a lot of companies, a lot of small businesses out of business because they couldn't compete with larger companies that could handle the tariffs. And so I don't know. Yeah. Blindly liking anyone is stupid. There's not one person on this earth that I would blindly be loyal to no matter what. Like, well, what about your kids? Well, guess what? If my kids murdered my wife, I wouldn't like my kids anymore. Like, it's just like, okay, like there's just no one. Like, there has to be
there are
something.
Conditions.
There has to be something in anybody that would get you to not like that person anymore. And it's on both sides. I know we've been kind of shitting on Trump and stuff, but like, it's both sides. It's like, each side could do no wrong if it's their person.
He's a pretty easy target these last 2 weeks. Like, in terms of, like,
he's
costs.
an easy target. My thing with Trump is like, dude, because I know he does good things. My thing is like, get off of Twitter or get off of whatever Truth Social or whatever stupid new thing you have. You want to how many more people would like you if you just shut the fuck up? Like, just shut up. Like, just be like presidential, do what you're supposed to do. And be like, well, this is why we like Trump, because he's not presidential. Like, okay, great. You know what? I'd like a very
People
stoic
shouldn't be allowed
president.
to vote.
Exactly. I want a stoic president. That's what I want. Let's bring back. I just got back from DC. We can reincarnate. We've got scientists. Can we get George Washington? Could we get him back? Or Abraham Lincoln? They'd probably all be terrified of what's going on. America, what has happened to the America. But yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Especially George Washington. Like, you can't go to Atlanta. Oh my gosh. Lincoln would be okay, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think Washington, I mean, obviously, who knows how whitewashed the information you get, but was very kind to his enslaved people. You're not allowed to say slaves anymore. I learned that on the thing. Like, you have to call them enslaved. And so I'm trying to be as kind as possible. But yeah, so I don't know. It just this all of our podcasts turn into giant bummers.
Yeah.
Well, and life sucks. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, I go back to, there are things that you can do to like get you out of that though. Like, we just recently had, and we probably shouldn't talk about this. I don't care. We just had someone who filed for unemployment from a business that is run. And I don't know why, like, it bothered me, where I was just like, go like do something of your own.
Go get a job.
Go get it. Like, go, like, and not even like get, like, you can start building something of your own. Yeah. Like, the easiest way to get out from under the grip of tyranny is to like be as self-sufficient as possible and not dependent on the least number of people as possible as well. Not to say like I'm perfect at this. Like, as a teacher, I was literally a government employee making taxpayer dollars. And that's like part of the reason where I'm just like, man, there should be no government funding at all, because the amount of waste, the
Oh, dude.
amount of, like, if you had any idea, this is just one school out of tens of thousands across the United States, like public schools. And that's just education. That's not all of the other government jobs that we have going on. Like, and that's all funded by taxpayer money.
Right.
I want all of those people to get jobs as well.
Yeah.
But we do this thing where we pretend like education is what gets people out of poverty. And I just don't believe that. Like education does get people out of poverty, but not necessarily a public education, not necessarily like going to college, not necessarily whatever. So if I was going to be like, have a positive spin on this thing, it's like, this is part of the unsexy businessmen side of things, where if you start building something of your own, you get to be the person who's in control of a number of your employees' destinies and livelihoods that can just be way better than what all of these other horrible agencies, I'm just using agencies as like a whatever, like federal government, or really crappy companies that exist out there. They can have a much better experience if you go and build something that you can control.
Right.
That's one way of taking control back.
Yes. Well,
Did I
yes.
land the plane on that? I don't know.
Yeah, you did. You did. But I'm going to go right back to what we were talking about. Life sucks.
You can't get on the plane if there's no TSA agents.
No, like the
it's always a Southern accent.
If I was president, I believe I could fix the majority of our problems. Number one, the day after the Super Bowl is a national holiday. Number two, the 4th of July is celebrated like Thanksgiving. It's every first Friday of every July. Number three is we pay police officers quadruple what they make now, and teachers. The reason being, we would get this goes way back to what you're talking about. We would get such higher caliber people if we were paying them way more. So instead of spending money bombing Iran, let's pay our teachers more. Let's pay our policemen and firemen more. Like, let's get like the best of the best, so we don't have to worry about having all these crazy, we don't have to worry about the body cams, and we don't have to worry about all the extra training and all the other stuff. I don't know. That's if you're watching or you're listening and if you agree with supporting the police and teachers, give us a like.
And we should say, if you agree with supporting the police and or teachers, so it gives those who don't want to support the police the opportunity to like.
I was talking about, it's funny, I was talking to my daughter about this too. If you support firefighters or you support teachers, make sure that you give a like. The reason I did that is because my daughter asked me, she's like, would you rather be a policeman or a firefighter? I was like, a firefighter. She's like, why? I was like, because everyone loves firefighters. Isn't it dangerous? Like, yeah, but everyone loves, there's no one like, you know what? Fuck the fire department. No one says that. Like, that's what I'd want to be, a firefighter.
Oh, that's funny.
But
maybe that could be a podcast, the most universally loved jobs or occupations.
Yeah,
gosh.
absolutely.
Oh, sweet. Well, awesome. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening. Go have a great rest of the week, and we'll chat with you next week. Thank you for listening to the Unsexy Businessmen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Now go get to work.